boo. Lovely to have your company. I know, a little cheeky musical interlude for you. Last hour. Honestly, so this is the first time that I've put my presenter hat on since obviously we've reduced our staff and we've reduced our hours, so we're only in the building a little bit. Obviously we've no guests, so we've no guests having to travel, make unnecessary journeys, which is really good, and it keeps the amount of people in the building down as well. So we're taking lots of measures, and I'm really proud actually. I think Hochanda have done such a good job, and honestly our guests have been amazing because they've been sending these clips and it got turned around like that. You know, the decision to make all this happen was so quick, and the guests, they reacted immediately and they've been so brilliant. So our guests and everybody, thank you, because it's it feels like, you know, we're all together as well. I quite like that. But anyway, yeah, high five to us all. High five to us. Sounds rubbish, doesn't it? But thank you as well, of course, for keeping us company, because without you, we wouldn't be here. And hopefully, even if you're not spending, if you're not buying, hopefully you've got ideas. It's just kept you entertained, kept you inspired as well, because I think that is one of the tricky bits, you know, if you're feeling a bit flat. Can be really hard to get your mojo going. So hopefully people like our wonderful John are helping you keep inspired. Now, this is your one-day special. Your one-day special. You might have seen it in the last hour if you tuned in. If you missed it, I'll tell you what we've got, because we have got a lot of new viewers this hour. Hello and welcome. My name's Leonie. Nice to have your company. So what we've got for you now, you've got choices. Wait until I've finished having a waffle. I do apologise, but wait till I've finished, because we've got quite a few different options. The first option are your squares. Now the squares, these are amazing. They're matte and layering dies, but what our John has done, and he is going to be telling you all about this, so I'm not actually going to do that. I'm just going to be quick and tell you this so John can tell you proper. 32 dies there. The increments on these are incredible. They are the actual dies. If I do this, there you go. They are the actual dies. They are that fine. You are getting that amount of detail with these dies, as to the fineness of the cut, as to the fineness of the matte and layer that you can achieve with these. So you've got 32 of your nesting squares. You've then got 16 of the dot and dash squares. These are mathematically perfect. These are 18 squares, so they're going to fit in your 8x8 card. They're going to create the perfect layers, apertures, etc. Now, that's your first one, okay? I'll whip through what you've got. You've got £5 saving there if you want to go for that today. 203152. That's your first one day special. That £5 is carried over to the big bundle, which I'll tell you about in a second. The second one day special, your circles. Again, the increments on that are fabulous. It's going up to an 8-inch again, so it's going to fit perfectly on your 8-inch cards, but you're going right down to that tiny little circle. Again, these have been designed perfectly. So you've got your wonderful circles, 31 of those. You've then got the stitch and dot, 16 of those. These fit perfectly together. They give you, again, the matte and layering, that precision that you can achieve with these is sensational. And it's the amount of options. I mean, every single one of these, you're creating your aperture, you're creating frames, you're creating perfect matte and layers. You're creating works of art though. So it does allow you, just with circles, it allows you so many options. Now, if you do want to go for this one, this is your second one day special, saving £5 there. 203152. That's your item number. So, second one day special. The third collection we've got for you. Now, it isn't a one day special, but it is fabulous. It is brand new and you have got a saving. So you have got your gorgeous diamonds. Now with your diamonds, what you get in here, you've actually got 15 of your plain diamonds, if you will. I hate saying plain, but it's plain compared to the gorgeous stitch and dash there. But again, perfectly designed. So they are mathematically spot on, and they are going to fit on all your standard cards. Let me spin that round so you can see the size again. So that one is again your 8-inch. I love how there's a ruler there, so you actually know what size it is. Genius. None of this having to faff to try and find a ruler, which we've done a lot. Okay, so if you do want that one, another £5 saving. However, 104027, don't forget that bit, Leonie. However, what's been the busiest is a full collection. You're getting all the squares, you're getting all the circles, you're then getting all the diamonds. You've actually got, I think, is it 102 dies? My math. 121 dies. See, so close. I lost some up floor. I lost the little ones. You've got 121 dies here. That is phenomenal. But look at your saving. So the way this is worked out, the £5 from each one, that's been carried forward. So £15 saving has been carried forward. We've then taken a further £15 off this price. So you're actually saving, I know it says 15, it's actually £30 from the recommended retail. You've got a £30 saving unless you're part of Hochanda Freedom. If you're part of Hochanda Freedom, that saving is even better because it's an extra almost £25 off there, which £24.99, almost £25. You've already got that £15 carried forward. So that's 40 quid, isn't it? Yeah, 40 quid. Price of those diamonds. So basically you're getting those for nothing. That is amazing. And you've got your 3 flexes as well. Because it's over £30, that's what we're doing at the minute with our Easter celebration. If you're spending over 30, you automatically get your 3 flexes if you want it. So that means today, £29.98 guarantees you all 3 sets. 121 dies. Of course, you know exactly what you're paying the month after and the month after. You don't get charged any interest on that. You don't have to wait till that third payment's gone through before you get all these dies delivered to your door. 204461. It is very busy. Please check out your baskets. Freedom members, easy to join. You don't pay any postage. That, I reckon, is a why not deal. Now then, our John, he's been ever so fabulous, of course, and he's done some wonderful demonstrations. First of all, he's going to tell you why he's designed these and what makes these so special.
Hi, I just wanted to explain a little bit about the dies that are in the one-day special, what's different about them and what's so special. So I'm going to start with the squares. So with the square nesting dies, what you've actually got is you've actually got 22 dies in total in here. But what's different about these have all been done on an imperial measurement. And what that means is, if I take this square, for example, this square is exactly 6 inches square. The next die that goes after that is 6 1/4. The next one is 6 1/2, 6 3/4, and 7 inches. So this is the first time, to my knowledge, that we've done nesting dies that are actually mathematically accurate. So in here we start with a 1/4 inch, but you've actually got a 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch, a 3/4 inch, an inch, and so on, all the way up to an 8 inch or 8 1/4 inch square as the largest. So this enables you to get your perfect mats and layers. And we've tied these in with the brand new stitch dot squares. So with the stitch dot, again, these have all been done on the same measurements. So these have been done so that they're mathematically correct. And if you notice, because of the double stitch dot, and what I mean by double is that you have the cut line in the center, then you have the line on the one side, which is a stitch dot pattern, and the same on the other, so that the piece that cuts out and the piece it cuts out of both give you that detailing on them. But these have been done so that they intermix perfectly with the plain layers, so that you can mix them together. If I bring up this square here, this shows you I've gone stitch dot, plain, stitch dot, plain, stitch dot, plain, all the way through. So hopefully there you can see that there is a mat that fits every single one of the stitch dot squares that we've got, plus all of these which haven't been used in this pile. So that's the totality you get from the 2 dies within the one-day special set, all of those different squares. So we do that for the squares. We also have the second option, which is the circles, and these are exactly the same. So these have been done on an inch diameter. So there is in here a 1 inch, a 2 inch, a 3 inch, a 4 inch, and so on. Again, with the 1/4 inch increments. So if you want to put a circle that fits exactly on a 6-inch square card blank, there is a die in there that it will be exactly 6 inches to fit on that, and the corresponding mats and layers. And again, with the stitch dot, we've done exactly the same. So you've got the double stitch dot line on one side and the other, so that the piece that cuts and the piece it cut from gives you exactly the same pattern. But again, these can be tied together. And what I've got here is, I've actually done these loose so that you can see. So you can see there, we start with, you've got the smallest stitch dot circle, which has then a plain, another one, plain, and that goes all the way through. It then continues on all of those, and then we still get all of those circles as well. So that is the totality of all the shapes you get just by cutting each die in the set once. The other new set that we've got, which is available in the larger bundle, are the diamonds, and this is the first time we've done diamonds, and once again these have been done so they're mathematically correct. So these will tie in and match with these dies and will fit on your card blanks. So you have the diamonds in plain, and you have the diamonds again in the stitch dot pattern with the line being on both sides. And with it being a diamond shape, I've been able to again layer this one and go plain to stitch dot, plain to stitch dot, and so on. I've then done a slightly smaller one using all the dies in the set, and we go from stitch dot to plain and all the way through again. And I even have 3 left that don't fit in those patterns. When I put that together, you can see, because it's a diamond, we get to one point where they have to match to make it exactly the same. So that's why I've done them in 2 separate pieces, so you get all 3. So that's a brief understanding of what's happening with the brand new nesting and stitch dot dies from Crafts 2. And available in the larger bundle, you have the diamonds, you have the circles, again stitch dot and plain, and you have in the squares the stitch dot and the plain. All are available in pairs.
Oh, and he done good. Yeah, it's so busy. Please check your baskets out. This is your brand new one-day special from Crafts 2 and our wonderful John. The handy dies. I say handy, they're essential dies, aren't they? You know, any card maker is going to use these. If you're into your mixed media, your journaling, you're going to use these because they are the kind of dies that, it's funny actually, they're definitely the kind of dies, especially the circles I'd be working with, you know, because they're easy to use. They're going to go through all your die cutting systems. But with something like this, you can create, I mean, look at that for perfect mats and layers. You can create really, really spot on mats and layers. But for me, you can create perfect circles to work on, you know, every single time. They will as well. I mean, they're going to marry up with so many of the gorgeous things that you've already got at home. I love this. This is another one. Look at that background. That is such a clever background. I mean, that is such a beautiful background. I really like that. And that's just made out of the circles. Really, really clever. Same with this. Again, just made out of the circles. I adore that. I love these. Look at these. Look at all those layers. Those gorgeous layers. And they're perfect. I mean, right down to the little circle. They are absolutely spot on. And I'm going to point out as well, we've got those on the show. So if you do want the frames, they're really, really cool. And they do mean that you can stand your cards up. Remember, these are all part of your one-day special. You're getting your circles, you also get your squares. Now, isn't that gorgeous? And the thing is with this, because you are getting these fantastic big dies, 8-inch die. So it means something like this, you can create some really, really beautiful frames. I mean, that is such a nice frame, isn't it? And it's got that detail because you've got the stitch and dot there, spot on, absolutely perfect. Really like that. Your bigger projects, but right down to your smaller projects. John did demonstrate in the last hour. You can watch it on catch up, so you can have a little look. but he demonstrated pattern building. I love this. I just think that is phenomenal. That's the one that John actually demonstrated. Isn't that cool? And it's just using your card with the dies and just really playing with the way that you build that back up again. So really effective. That's beautiful. And again, perfect mat and layer time and time again. And every one of these, because it's covered, every one of these you can gut. So it means that you are going to be saving. You're not just saving, but if they're all gutted, you've created more and more frames, more and more layers, which is such a good way of using these dies, a really good way of using these dies. Now, if you do want your one day special, you've got choices, but if you want the big bundle, that is the one everybody's going for. It's where you're going to get the biggest saving. It's where you're going to get the full collection. 206461. Going to be dispatched from the 24th of this month, so not long to wait at all. These bits are marvellous because now we all get to chill out. And our John is going to inspire us. What's he up to next?
For this demonstration, I want to show you the benefit of having dies that are imperially correct, which means that each one has been done on a measurement of 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch. So it enables us to be able to patchwork things together perfectly. So I'm just going to bring in my plates. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the stitch dot on this one. These are the stitch dot squares. And I'm going to take the last die in the set. So again, we count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. So number 16, number 15, number 14, and number 13. So I'm just going to take the last 4 in the set, and I'm using a piece of bright pink Crafts 2 linen card, and I'm just going to run that on and cut it. And what you want to do is to cut all of these sizes in 3 or 4 different colours. So I've decided to cut these into dark pink, light pink and white. So I've used 3 colours on here. And I've matched them together. You can see size 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 different sizes on that one. So we'll bring in our piece. So there we go. So I want to cut those first of all plain, which is what I've done. So I've got the simple plain sizes. Once you've cut them plain, you want to cut a second set of these, and this will give you enough pieces to make 2 or 3 of these different cards. And you want to use the next size down on each one to make yourself a frame. So I'm going to use a little bit of tape, and I'm going down on each one so that for each piece I have a solid and a frame. So I'm just going to glue that one on. And what I would then do is take those through and run those through my machine. So once I've got all of those pieces, I'm not going to run those through at the moment because I've already cut these. So we'll pop that to one side. Once you've actually cut all of the pieces that you need, you want to start matting and layering them. So what I've done is I've layered in various sizes, the largest, the next one down, the smallest of the solids. I put a frame in there, a frame in there, a small centre in there and there. So I've chosen out a selection of these, and because, as I said, these are mathematically correct, they will fit together perfectly in patchwork. So you can play with them in lots and lots of different ways. I've already laid out for speed how I'm going to do it, but I've cut a piece of card here, and this is 5 3/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. So again, this is all in this 1/4 inch increment. And all I'm going to do is, I've already glued these down, I'm going to stick these onto the piece. So I'm going to start with the square there. I'm then going to take this one that has the frame with a little bit of foam tape on it there. And if you see here, 2 of this size, there's the same dimensions as one of that size. This one I absolutely love. I've just added in here a couple of little pieces. So I've got a couple of little bits in there which can fit in there. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to pop that one in, leave that one. And I'm going to finish off here with a piece there. So that fits. And you'll see there, what I've got is, oh, I've got a little bit of a gap there, a little bit of a kick. That's fine, because the larger size fits exactly into there. So this next size up is the same as one of that square and one of that square, or one of that square and two of the smaller squares. I just love the way these all fit together. So I'm going to slip that little piece in, and obviously when I planned this I was going to put a border around, but I'm not going to. And here I've got two of the smaller pieces. So again, you spend a little bit longer matting and layering it, but you get a beautiful card of all these different levels and all these different squares that all fit together. And there are so many different combinations you can use for this, so many different colour combinations and combination of sizes, because all of the squares are mathematically correct, so they fit in exactly to the spaces.
I'm going to show you variations. See, variations on the theme. Brilliant demo. Thank you, John. I think these are fabulous. See, whether you, I like them being left blank as well. I love this as well because you can vary it, you know, with the 3D foam elements. That one, just using the squares. And John was saying before, you know, how the squares make squares because, again, it's mathematically spot on. It means you're creating patterns within patterns within patterns. Our Karen emailed in, didn't she? It was our Karen. It was our Karen who emailed in from Pink Pig, Pink Frog. Oh, sorry, I always get my pinks. I know every time. I know, which is terrible when I'm doing shows. But thank you, Karen. And she said the circles, the 2.5 inch, perfect for your ATC coins. Which is, again, just a must-have. I was going to pinch one, actually, and see if it'll cut through my acetate, but I was a good girl and I didn't ruin anything. OK, if you do want any of these, you need to be checking your basket out. That's your one-day special, or, of course, your big bundle. It's a big bundle. That's what's going. 206461. Right. I'm going to remind you some of the other goodies that we've got. I say remind you, you might not watch the first hour. If so, you might not have seen these yet. I hadn't seen these yet. I don't think I've done a show with our John with these. And these are such nice dies. So you've got, these are cool. So you've got these wonderful dies that are the perfect foliage. They're really, really fantastic to add a little bit of interest. You've got the left and the right, which are wonderful for, of course, creating that beautiful sprig of florals, and of course very cuttable, aren't they? You know, you can see exactly where you'll trim those down. You've then got your leaves. They've got the beautiful veining in there to again give you that realism, to give you that detail. And again, the left and the right, which is so handy. Now with that one, bear with, hold on, that's your little flowers. There's some of your sprigs, so you can see, and you only need a little bit of the sprig coming through to add that detail and that dimension to these. Where did I put my cards? Bear with. Sorry for, oh, it's under my board. Of course. There you go. And you can see those sprigs again. So pretty, so delicate as well. Now only $11.99. You've got loads of dies in there, 10 dies in total, really handy dies. If you're going for the flowers, if you've got flowers already, they are just so handy to have in your collection. 319207. Now we've also got for you, talking of flowers, we've got our flower dies, and of course ridiculously handy. I like the way these have been designed because you can see they're on the solid platforms. Now that is handy because with one pass you're cutting all of those out. So we're saying 3 dies, of course, but there's loads more than that. I mean, that plate alone you've got 4, and after that you've got tons. So yeah, loads of dies, and these are fantastic because they're going to make it really quick and easy, A, to cut, but B, to layer up, and they do look really effective. You've got the camellia, you've got, did I say it right this time? Yes, you've got the hydrangea and you've got the wonderful peony. They do look wonderful. I mean, something like that. How pretty is that? Achievable as well. I mean, just getting your polystyrene ball. They've literally been pinned. That is it. It's just been pinned onto the wonderful old polystyrene ball, and that looks so effective. You can, of course, shape them, you can colour tint them. When you think about it, you know, we use flowers all the time for embellishments, so it's dead handy when you can create your own and you can layer them quickly and easily to create beautiful embellishments. I love that one. I just think that is so gorgeous. And obviously, it's saying what flowers they make, but you don't have to. You can do what you want with them. £29.97 is your price. If you do want to go for all three of those, 230980. If you're adding anything into your one-day special basket, it means you'll split the payment over 3 months. So again, it's a great way of spreading those payments out. Now, last but by no means least, we've got the stand. This is such a good idea again. So in one pass, you're creating your stand. So with something like that, you'll be able to cut that out to decent weight cardstock as well, because it's not too filigree, it's not too fancy. And it means with your little old stand, let me make sure that is bent properly. There, with your little old stand, you are, I knew it were going to do that, live telly. It's as soon as you make a statement like, look, it'll just stand up perfectly, it always falls over. But you've got that wonderful stand. That is so easy, and it folds flat. Perfect for posting. And the thing is, with something like that, you don't need, you know, sometimes with something like that it folds flat, but then you have to post it and you need to put instructions in there. With this, you don't. It's dead easy. It's dead obvious what it does. You know, that's it. Just make sure you score it proper before you put it in there, so then when you get it, it just folds perfectly. Great idea, that. £12.99 is your price. 331330. Now, the words that I love to hear. We've got another wonderful demonstration. Isn't this marvellous? Sit back, chill out, and let's see what our lovely John is going to be making this time.
In this demo, I'm going to show you how to make the beautiful rainbow and the background using the new stitched dot circles. So what I've done here is I've actually taken, what you could do is you could do this as you receive them if they're stuck down, but what I've done is taken a large piece of card, just a really thin piece of card, and put some double-sided tape down. I've crossed off the extra bits and I've put all the circles down in exactly the same place. So these are pretty much very stuck to the paper. So here on the board I've got dies 1, 2 and 3. So stuck down I've got dies 4 to 16. Now it is important for this technique to actually stick your dies down, and I've used double-sided tape, and there isn't enough gap for it to really grab your card. Just make sure, I didn't at first leave, I left some tape hanging out so it ripped my card a little bit, but that's now covered. But just using low-tack tape or on a magnetic sheet, as you take all of the pieces out, these will move, and it's very important that you have these staying in exactly the same place so that it actually works. So that's what I've done, and you may need to alter the sandwich in your machine to actually enable you to cut all of these pieces. So what I've done is I've got my plates here. I'm just going to put my die down flat, and I'm going to start with a piece of red card. So I'm using a piece of red card here. I'm just going to pop it on top, and I'm going to run that through my machine. Now, as I said, it is very important that all of the pieces stay in exactly the right place. So it is important that you tape them down to the die like that. Now, I'm going to bring out the pieces that I've already got cut, which I have here. But I'll show you first of all what you get when these are cut. So when I take my plates off, you can see there I've got all my circles cut through. So I can just peel off each one. If any don't cut correctly, you can always run some scissors or a knife around, although if you get the tension in your machine right, it will be absolutely fine. So I'm going to release all of those circles and I'm going to cut this in all the colours of the rainbow. So I move over to here, you can see that this is I've already done. So I've got red and a dark yellowy orange, a lighter yellow, a green, a light blue, a dark blue, and a purpley colour. And you want to take each size, the next size down for each colour. But what this means is, I've calculated by doing this, you will have enough pieces to make yourself at least 6 circles, if not 8, if you start larger. And that means that you'll be able to cut those in half and get yourself 12 or 16 rainbows. So you just take it and start smaller each time. So what I'm going to do is, here I've got a piece of my double-sided adhesive sheet. So I'm just going to peel off the protective cover. So we'll take that off. Well done, John. And we'll place that down. And you may find it easier to keep the protective cover just over the top, just a touch. And I'm going to take, first of all, obviously as it's a rainbow, my red circle. So I'm going to pop down my red circle. We'll peel this off and use that to just make sure it's stuck. Then I'm going to take the next one, and because they were all stuck together, each one of these will be exactly right. So it doesn't matter that I've changed card in between each one. So bright yellow, we're then going to go to the light yellow. I'm going to go to the green. And you can make this in any colour you want. It would look really nice monochromatic, just done in black and white, and alternate each one. So I'm going to go light blue, dark blue, and I'm going to finish off with the purple. So there I've got a sort of target. It makes me think of sort of kids' TV shows from years ago. And all I would do is simply cut this in half. That means each time you do this, you will get 2 rainbows. You can use your trimmer if you want to. And then take a pair of scissors and just trim around each circle. Take a little bit more time and care than I'm doing. I've actually got one already cut. So I'll finish this and move one in. There we go. So we take that off and then we would cut out the centre piece. And once we've done that, we will have a rainbow just like that. So really simple, but really, really effective. So we've made our rainbow. So what I need to do now is to make the background for it. So I've taken one of the pieces of the stitched dot squares and cut myself a nice mat for that, very, very simply. And I'm going to use my Textures 1 stencil, which I think should still be available on the website. It's an A4 stencil. To make it easier, I've cut it down in the centre because that's a lot simpler. And in there you get the mask and the stencil. So I'm going to start by just putting a moon, or it could be a sun, up here in the top left-hand corner. And I'm using one of the mini Eyes Ink pigment inks and a finger dauber, both from Crafts 2. So take a little bit of ink on, and all I'm going to do is just swirl the ink around this shape to start with. So taking it out quite nicely, we'll put our space back in. You can do this inside your press to impress to keep a magnet to keep it down, or you could use a little bit of glue. And I'm just going to then take the ink and pull it out a little bit on the dauber and pull it out to the edges. The reason I'm using pigment ink is it's a lovely chalky ink that blends beautifully and it gives you a more opaque look. It's not quite as sharp as the dye-based ink. So we take our moon off and there we go, we've got our moon. I simply then take the stencil itself and I'm going to use this section, which is the cloud cutout. I'm going to take more of the ink and I'm using the same colour on the dauber, and I'm just going to circle around this top edge. You do feel at the beginning as if you're achieving nothing with this. There we go, but you can see there we've got a cloud line. I'm going to move the stencil and put myself another one in. And I would keep working down and just adding these little cloud lines with that until I've gone all the way to the bottom. You can do as many as you want or as few as you want. But then you've also got these little cloud masks that come within the set, and you get the stencil section as well. So I'm going to put those on and I'm just going to shade the ink all around. So I'm going to have those randomly around, just like that. But you can see the more blue you put on, the more the white is evident. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but literally the more blue we put on, the more that the white stands out. So we would continue doing that until we've filled the whole thing with clouds. And I've got one here that I've already done. So I'm going to pull this one in, and I've matted and layered it using the plain squares, the new ones from Crafts 2, from Press Cut. So I matted and layered it onto a light blue and then a dark blue. And I've stamped on the edge a little sentiment from my Loving Sentiments set. I've got here my rainbow, and of course, because I use double-sided adhesive, all I have to do to stick this on is peel off the adhesive and place that exactly where I want it to be. Over, a little bit over the moon, into the clouds, and just focusing on that sentiment. We'll pull our piece of card out, and there you go, a really simple, bright, sunny rainbow card for any occasion.
Thank you, our lovely John. And John said I need to pull the tab down, and that's what will make the stand up proper. Thank you, John. Oh yeah, I see what you. Oh, like that. Oh yeah, John, that's right, innit? That makes sense. Thanks, John. Thank you for emailing in. Boom, he's watching. He's making sure. Oh, I shouldn't have ate them peanuts. You just look at that. I won't be a minute. I know, right? Peanuts, not great. Oof. I'm back. Oof. They always tickle my throat, the peanuts. Anyway. That's what our John made, which is fab. I really like that. Just the circles. I love the fact that he's using the circles, he's using the wonderful squares to give that finished, perfect finished mat and layer. Absolutely gorgeous. You've got so, I love the fact that he sent the cards as well, honestly. Beautiful, beautiful. It's so professional. Okay, this is your one day special, but it's your options. You've got your options, but that isn't what people are going for. People are going for it bigger. People are going for the squares all together, the circles all together, and then the gorgeous diamonds as well. The whole collection. How much? Whoa. Okay, 50% of the stock has gone. This is the second hour of the double hour launch show. You've got 3 hours to get hold of this tomorrow, if there's any left. I would urge you to check your baskets out. John's shows are always ridiculously busy because he knows what he's bringing to us, doesn't he? Craft 2. I mean, Crafts 2 have been in business for years now. When I started in the crafty business, I used to order things because I used to work at Dawn Shop. I used to order things from Crafts 2. They've been going for as long as I can remember, so they know what they're doing and they know they bring good prices. I mean, really, really affordable crafting materials, but something you will use. You are going to use all of these again and again and again. And the finished samples, I mean, I did show you this one, but I really love these. Isn't that gorgeous? That's the one that John demoed earlier. And it does look like a new baby card, but really cool, really different. I can imagine those framed. I think they just look so effective. Okay, if you do want this, please check your baskets out at hochanda.com or 01733602000. You're only going to wait until the 24th to get these delivered. 206461. Now, John, do we want another demo? Of course we do. Here's John again with another beautiful card.
So this is the second part of the demo showing us how to make the easel card, just like this. So in the first part we made our central piece. Now we want to make a card to mount it onto. So what I've got here is a simple card blank. This happens to be an 8x8 that's already folded, and give it a really good score. And I want to choose a die that matches, that's a little bit larger than the actual piece that we're doing, because we want plenty of room around it. So I've gone for one here that's...
It's not John, me. We didn't realise that was the second part, so we felt that it's better just to get out of it and go back into right one. Have we got the first part? Part one coming up. That's a sneaky peek. Oh, bear with. And that was a sneaky peek of tomorrow's demonstration. But for now, let's start at the beginning, part one.
In this demo, I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful sort of fold-up easel card with a triple stamped layer on the front. So I'm going to move that out of the way, and I'm going to be using the new press cut plain circles and stitch dot circles from Crafts 2. So to start with, we're going to do the triple layer stamping. Now, one of the problems before with triple layer stamping is you had to do it really on squares or rectangles because you couldn't cut the mats and layers quite so neatly. So what I can do with the circles is I can choose the size of circle that I want to be my main element. So I'm going to go in the set and find the right one, which is this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one, the next one again, the next one, and again follow that on until I have the dies almost in ascending order. So I have the first one, the next size, the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one, and I'm going to put those in two sets. So that's one, miss one, hit one, miss one, hit one. So these three I'm going to cut from plain white stamping card, and you can see here that's what I've done. So I've got 1, 2 and 3. Edit. So I've got 1, 2 and 3, and then from the other next 3 up I'm going to cut 3 again, but this time in black. So if you mat them together, you can see that your circles go white, black, white, black, white, black. So you've got the perfect mats and layers. So I'm just going to move these dies back out of the way because no one wants to see me die cutting those. And I'm simply going to take then my press to impress, and I want the white layers. So I'm going to put the black layers to one side, and we're going to use the white layers. And what I want to do is mat those up so that they are even all the way around on top of each other. I'm going to pop it into the top left-hand corner of my press to impress and just use my magnets to hold it into place. And then for the triple stamping, I'm using one of the 2J's stamps. This is the Daisy, I believe. So I'm simply going to place that so it's nicely in the middle of those 3, and we'll close our lid. And I'm going to ink the stamp up very well using VersaFine in Onyx Black. So I'm just going to ink the stamp up, and again just using the cha-cha-cha, make sure you're really tapping the ink on. You don't want to be sort of squishing the ink in, just give it a good firm tap. And there we go. And then we're going to close that and make sure you press everywhere. You want to make sure you're getting it in contact everywhere possible with the card. So give it a good press. When we open it up, you can see there, I take the magnets away, that the pattern continues onto the next layer and onto the next layer. So you've got an easy registration for putting them back together. But again, because of the way the stamps worked, we've got these little gaps. We want to nullify those, and that's what we do with the black layers. So I'm going to bring back in my black layers, and I'm simply going to add a little bit of glue to the back of each of the stamped images. Make sure I use the back and not the front. So there we go. And then I'm going to match it onto the corresponding black layer. Again, centering it to get me a nice mat all the way around. So I've got layer 1. Here's layer 2. And then we've got layer 3. And when you come to matching these together, it's really simple because the design is still there, but also you can just make sure that they match up exactly. And you can do this either with foam tape or just simply using a little bit of glue. I'm going to use a little bit of foam tape, and I'm just for speed going to add a little bit in the center of these two pieces. So I'm going to take the foam tape off, and I'm going to match the second piece to the third, and you can see how easy it is to do, as you can see where the pattern ties up. I'm going to take this one and again match the pattern up, and you can see there you've got that beautiful picture going over all of three. In the next demo I'll show you how to make the card to go with that.
We know we had a little sneaky peek. To see the rest of that demo, you'll see that at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, when it's the early show for the one-day special with the new hours. That's where John is going. And you can see with those circles, you're making beautiful shaped cards. You're making wonderful mat and layers that are perfect every single time. And as John said, you can see that image just cutting through that beautiful circle mat and layer. Spot on. And that's the kind of thing you can do with your stamps, any of your stamps. Have a look round. You'll be doing it on like repeat patterns of stuff as well, like your decoupage papers. You'll be able to create that kind of look. Let me run through what you're going to get again. All of the squares. Remember, in each of these, I mean, that 32 squares. It is incredible. In fact, the squares on their own have been really busy. They are essential. How many times have you tried to cut a perfect mat and layer? With this one, you're cutting so many configurations there, and then because you've got the stitch and dot, it allows you to cut those really beautiful finishes as well. And when you combine these, you're going to get so many wonderful mat and layers, so many configurations. Now, £44.98, you're saving £5 there, whether you're using them for your card making, whether of course you're using them for your wonderful home decor, because they look professional, because these are going to be even every single time, because mathematically they've been done correct, so it means they'll fit in that beautiful frame. They go up to 8 by 8, so it does allow you to fit them into an 8 by 8 frame perfectly. That's your gorgeous squares. If you just wanted your squares, saving £5 there, 203152. Obviously, you've then got your circles. This is the second one-day special. Again, with the circles, just the plain, you've got 31 dies there. I mean, that is such a handy collection to have. The fact that these have been mathematically worked out to give you those teeny tiny increments is amazing. And the fact that that is an 8-inch die that'll go on all your standard cards that you're buying from the shop. I love the finish as well on these. That beautiful dot and dash. I think that looks so pretty. Let's lean over. Oh, that's the square one. That's my circle one up above it, isn't it? Yes, it is. Stay. And the fact that you can create not just perfect mat and layers, not just beautiful aperture cards, shaker cards, but the fact that you can create wonderful designs, you know, things like that, because that looks cool. It's different. It's really effective. I love it, because the background, it's not just your frames, the background's been done with dies as well. And it's perfect. Now, that is your second one-day special. If you'd love to get hold of that one, then the price there, hold on, sorry, I'm faffing, is just £44.98. You've got your flexi as well there. You've got your £5 saving, 203152. However, I'm nearly got ahead of myself. You've also got the diamonds. Sorry, I'm cleaning glue off my hand. You've also got the diamonds. Now, with the diamonds, these are so beautiful, and the backgrounds that have been created with these are sensational. £5 saving again. You're getting 15 of the plain dies, 11 of those beautiful stitch and dot dies for £104. I nearly said for £104 and 0.27 pence or something bizarre. For £24 and 98 pence, that is 104027. I mean, favourite. Isn't that cool? I've got a lot of faves. I love these. I love these designs. I'm going to get the other one and all. I know I've shown you a couple. Well, I showed you another hour. Isn't that lovely? And you could carry that on, couldn't you? And oh, it's a gift that keeps on giving. That background. If you missed it, that was the first demonstration we showed last hour. We'll probably repeat that tomorrow night as well, or during the day maybe tomorrow, because that is worth seeing again. That is gorgeous. If you want your diamonds, if you just want your diamonds, £24.98, 104027. Hello, what about this? We've got all of it. So if you want the lot, you want all your gorgeous diamonds, you want your fabulous circles, and of course you want your must-have. That is your squares as well. All of these are the dies you'll be going to day after day, time after time. These are the ones that stay out on your work surface. You don't tidy these away. Just make sure you keep them properly, because I know I'd be losing a few of these. So just be careful. I know what I'm like. I'm really bad. Now, if you want this, that saving, it says £15. It's more than that, because £15 is carried forward. The £5 from each one of these that you're saving from each one of these, that's carried forward and added on to that £15 saving. So actually it's a £30 saving, unless you're a Freedom member. If you're a Freedom member, that £15 is carried forward, and then for ease of maths, you've got an extra £25 saving there, £24.99, but a £25 saving. So you're saving £40, which basically is what you'd be paying for the diamonds. I mean, that is such a good saving. Plus, you're not paying postage if you're a Freedom member. Plus, it is split over 3 months. Just 3 payments, £29.98. Have I time to show gorgeous samples? Yes, I have. 3 wonderful minutes. And look at that. So pretty. Perfect. The perfect matten layer. Absolutely spot on. The perfect matten layer. See, every single time. Really cool cards. You know, designer cards. Fun cards, because you're creating apertures. I love it because you'll start playing. You know, that's the bit of card that you've cut the circles out of. Then you're filling them in. Then you're putting frames around them. And then you're actually building them up. You know, because obviously it's got dimension as well. I really like that. I really like that, because you're really exploring what you can do with them. Obviously, just use them for batten layering. I say just, it's a finishing touch. It's the way to make your cards look professional. It's the way, obviously, to get everything absolutely spot on. Because getting that level of detail when you cut, you'll have seen me, I guess my matten layers. When you guess your matten layers, you do not get that precision. You know? Yeah, I do wear it. I just put a little fold in it. This gives you that, look at that tiny little increment. And I love that, you see. I like those small matten layers. I like where you just see a little bit of the card. For me, that is just so professional. That's your plain frames, which your matten layer plain looks amazing, but you've got that dot and that dash. And doesn't see now that, keeping the dye in while you ink, and that gives you that beautiful finish. Really professional. We can't forget the gorgeous diamonds though, because you can do things like this. Let me just show you it right way around. There you go, right way around. I really like that. That is so pretty. And again, things like that, you're playing, look at that, because obviously you cut the diamonds out the white, you cut the diamonds out the black. I showed you it wrong way around, didn't I? But then all the leftovers you're using for the other card. See, I like that a lot, because it's fun. Pattern building like that is fun. Cutting all your pretty bits of paper out and just, inlaying them all again to create something completely different. Yeah, it's a good one-day special. It's an even better bundle. If you want to go for it, this is the last live hour this evening. Please check your baskets out. You've got your 3 flexes. We don't charge interest. You know exactly what you're paying every month and exactly when it's going out of your account. But best, You're getting all this delivered before you've even paid for it. Not bad. And you're not really paying for them because of that price. If you want to get hold of these, hochanda.com, or of course 01733 602,000. Now, I will be back with you tomorrow evening. We will be live from 7 o'clock, and then the one day special is going to be at 8 o'clock, so don't miss it. Have a safe evening. Night night.